All right, so you want the real deal on you become what you think, right? No fluff, just the core insights. Well, today we did the deep dive for you.
Yeah, we went through like tons of material.
Seriously. We pulled out the absolute best bits about happiness, forming habits, even some philosophy and mental health stuff.
It's pretty wild. Some of it's like seriously mind-blowing.
Totally. And unlike those books that just hammer home one point, this one's like a buffet of actionable
A
wisdom.
buffet, I like that.
Right. So I get ready to think differently, and let's jump in.
Let's do it.
So this book, it kicks off with some, like, straight-up truth bombs from Eckhart Tolle about being present.
Living in the now.
Exactly. It's all about that, like past regrets and future worries, all that's happening right now in the present moment.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the book has this whole thing about pain. It's like, getting hit by a dart. But then we go and throw ourselves a second dart by dwelling on it.
Oh,
Right? Like the Stoics, they were all about that. They'd say the only real pain is the one we like create ourselves in our minds.
wow. Okay. So by letting go of the stuff we can't control, we can, like, actually reduce our suffering.
Totally. And this kind of ties into this other concept, finding flow. You ever get that feeling where you're so absorbed in something, you just lose track of time?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm in the zone.
Exactly, that's flow. And this book basically gives you like the recipe to find that feeling more often.
Okay, I'm listening. What's the secret? Some crazy meditation thing.
Nope, it's way simpler than you think. It's all about picking activities that challenge you just the right amount.
Okay.
Not too easy, not too hard, finding that sweet spot where you're totally engaged.
For me, it's like when I'm putting together a new episode, like connecting ideas and finding ways to make um, complex topics engaging for the listeners.
Totally. See, and the book also talks about letting go, especially when it comes to material stuff.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Less stuff, more happiness.
Right. The idea is the more we tie our happiness to like things we own, the more we suffer when we lose them or they break.
Makes sense. But, like, how do we actually do that? It's easy to say let go, but, our world is all about stuff.
It's definitely a challenge, no doubt, but the book suggests focusing on experiences over possessions.
Experiences.
Yeah, like think about it. That memory of an awesome trip, it'll probably bring you more lasting joy than, say, that new phone you just had to have.
True. Experiences create those stories and memories that stick with you.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got happiness and mindfulness covered, but the book also talks about habits, right? Like how to actually grow and change.
Oh, yeah, tons of good stuff on that. One thing that blew my mind was this concept of the 1% rule.
The 1% rule?
Yeah, basically it says we don't need to make these huge overnight changes to improve.
Hmm.
It's about getting just 1% better every day. Over time, that compounds like crazy.
Like a snowball effect.
Totally. Small actions, building momentum until bam, big results.
I like that.
And the book has some seriously practical tips on making those small changes stick, like making the habits obvious and attractive.
Obvious and attractive. Okay. How do you do that?
So, say you want to read more, you could try putting a book on your pillow right where you see it.
Oh, that's clever. And what about for eating healthier?
Same idea, just make it easy and appealing, like chop up some veggies and have them ready in the fridge.
Makes sense. So you don't even need willpower. It's just, like, right there.
Exactly. But of course, we all hit those bumps in the road, right? Life happened, and sometimes those good habits, they kind of fly out the window.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So what do you do then? Just give up?
Nope. This is where momentum comes in. Once you get the ball rolling, it's way easier to keep those good habits going.
So it's like getting over that initial hump of starting something new. And then it kind of becomes more automatic.
You got it. And the book has this super simple tool, the 2-minute rule.
2-minute rule.
Okay. Yeah, you break down a new habit into tiny steps that take like 2 minutes max. Want to meditate? Just sit for 2 minutes at first. Want to write a book? 1 paragraph a day.
Wow, that's actually doable. Small wins for the win?
All right, small wins, big results.
So we've got happiness, mindfulness, habits. What else does this book dive into?
Well, this is where it gets a bit philosophical. We're talking Stoicism. So Stoicism, it's all about like virtue and reason and living in harmony with nature.
Okay.
It's about realizing we can't control everything that happens, but we can control our reactions and choices.
So less stressing about stuff we can't change and more focus on what we can actually do.
Exactly. And the book really digs into how those Stoic principles can help us navigate life's ups and downs, finding that inner peace even when things feel kind of crazy.
I like that. Inner peace, who doesn't want that? But how does this ancient philosophy thing apply to us today? Like, it's not like we can all just ditch our jobs and go live in a cave, right?
True, true. But the book gives some really practical examples of how we can, like, use stoicism in our everyday lives.
Oh, okay, like what?
Well, like choosing to focus on our own actions instead of getting caught up in what other people are doing.
Right.
Or recognizing that, yeah, we can't control external events, but we always have control over our thoughts and attitudes.
So it's about building up that inner strength, not letting the little things get to us.
Exactly. And one of the key Stoic principles is this idea of choosing your company wisely.
Oh, I'm all about that. Surround yourself with good people, the ones who lift you up.
Right. The book talks about how the people we hang out with, they have a huge impact on our thoughts, our emotions, even our behavior.
It's like that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Exactly. So choose wisely.
For sure.
The book encourages us to like be mindful of the energy we let into our lives,
Makes sense.
create a supportive and inspiring environment.
Okay, so Stoicism, it's more than just keeping a stiff upper lip.
Right.
It's about, like, living virtuously, connected with nature, surrounding yourself with good people. This is really resonating with me. But the book also talks about mental health, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It acknowledges that we all have those days, where we're feeling down or discouraged.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So what's the answer? How do we deal with those down days?
Well, instead of beating ourselves up, the book suggests practicing self-compassion.
Self-compassion. That sounds way nicer than my usual inner critic routine. But how do we actually do that?
It's about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a good friend.
Okay.
Recognizing that, hey, we're all human, we're going to make mistakes, have those off days.
So instead of saying, ugh, I messed up, I'm so stupid, it's more like, hey, everyone makes mistakes, I'll learn from this.
Exactly. It's about being gentle with yourself, offering that same support and encouragement you'd give to someone you care about.
I've actually been trying to practice more self-compassion lately, and I gotta say, it really does make a difference.
That's awesome to hear.
It's like taking the pressure off, allowing myself to be human.
Yeah, and the book dives into some other really interesting ideas about happiness. Like the idea that happiness, it's not some permanent state, it's an emotion.
An emotion, like sadness or anger.
Exactly. So chasing constant happiness might actually be the wrong approach.
Never thought of it like that.
And the book suggests instead of chasing happiness, we should focus on living according to our values.
Our values.
Yeah, like when we align our actions with what's really important to us, we create a much deeper sense of meaning and purpose.
It's like finding that sweet spot where our passions and our values, they kind of intersect.
You got it. And the book emphasizes that this sense of purpose, it can be a powerful source of resilience, especially when we're facing challenges.
It's like having a guiding star, that North Star, to help you through those tough times. I'm seeing how this all connects. Okay, we've covered so much, but I got to know, what does the book say about relationships?
Oh, get ready for some heartwarming stuff. The book defines true love using 4 elements: joy, equanimity, compassion, and loving-kindness.
Wow. Okay, break those down for me. What do those actually look like in a relationship?
All right, so joy, that one's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
It's that feeling of happiness and delight, when you're with someone you love.
Yeah.
Equanimity, that's about maintaining a sense of balance and composure, even when things get tough.
So not letting those little disagreements throw the whole relationship off track.
Exactly. Compassion, that's about understanding the other person's suffering and wanting to help.
Hmm.
And loving kindness, that's about wishing the best for the other person, wanting them to be happy.
Gotcha. So it's not just about those, like, butterflies in your stomach feelings.
Right.
It's about a much deeper connection, a genuine care for the other person.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. The book says you can't truly love someone else if you're disconnected from yourself.
Whoa, deep. So self-love is the foundation for all other love.
You nailed it. And the book suggests that mindfulness is like the bridge to authentic connection.
Okay.
By being present with ourselves, understanding our own thoughts and feelings, we can actually connect with others on a deeper level.
It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to fill your own cup first.
Precisely. And speaking of understanding ourselves better, the book takes a deep dive into human psychology, exploring some fascinating research on how our minds actually work.
Ooh, psychology, I'm intrigued. What are some of the key takeaways?
Well, the book highlights the work of Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel Prize-winning psychologist.
Wow.
He wrote this awesome book called Thinking, Fast, and Slow.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one. It's about those two different ways of thinking, right?
Yeah, the fast, intuitive system and the slower, more deliberate one.
Right, right. And we tend to rely too much on the fast one, which can lead to, like, bad decisions.
Exactly. Those impulse purchases we regret or judging someone based on first impressions. All that fast thinking.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that. So the book is saying we need to engage that slower, more deliberate system.
Yeah, slow down, question our assumptions, consider different perspectives.
Take a pause before reacting. Give ourselves time to really think things through.
Exactly. And the book also talks about this concept of cognitive flexibility. It's basically the ability to, like, change our minds.
Change our mind. Like, admit we were wrong.
Yep. Be open to new information and experiences, even if it challenges our existing beliefs.
So it's the opposite of being stubborn or stuck in your way.
Exactly. It's like, maybe you thought pineapple on pizza was just like the worst thing
Oh,
ever,
totally.
but then you try it and you're like, wait a minute, this is actually kind of good. You were open to changing your mind.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. So cognitive flexibility, it's all about being willing to update our beliefs when, like, we get new information or have a new experience. It's about having that, what do they call it, beginner's mind.
Yeah. Approaching things with like curiosity and openness instead of just shutting down.
I love that. It's about growth and learning, not being stuck in our old ways. But this book, it's not just about personal growth, is it? It also talks about, like, finding meaning in life, even when things are rough, right?
Absolutely. And it draws on some really powerful insights from Viktor Frankl.
Viktor Frankl?
Yeah. He was a Holocaust survivor who wrote this incredibly profound book called Man's Search for Meaning.
Wow, talk about facing challenges. His story is, like, so inspiring.
Seriously. And what he discovered was, even in the darkest of times, humans have this incredible capacity to find meaning and purpose.
But how? How do you find meaning when it feels like everything's falling apart?
Well, Frankel realized that while we can't always control our circumstances, we can always choose our attitude, our response.
So it's about focusing on what we can control, even when it feels like the world's going crazy around us.
Exactly. And you become what you think takes Frankel's insights and like applies them to everyday life. It's saying even when things are tough, we can still find meaning in our relationships, our work, even our hobbies.
It's about finding that thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, that spark that lights you up, right?
Exactly. And it's a reminder that we don't need to have all the answers. It's about embracing the journey, learning from our experiences, and making choices that are true to ourselves.
This is powerful stuff. Seriously, we've covered so much from happiness and habits to philosophy and mental health, relationships, even like mind-blowing psychology.
It's amazing how this book connects so many different ideas and approaches to living a better life.
And it never feels overwhelming. It's all presented in such a clear and simple way.
It's like the author has this knack for taking complex concepts and breaking them down into these like bite-sized pieces of wisdom that we can actually use.
Yeah, I think that's what makes you become what you think, though valuable and empowering. It's like a toolkit for personal growth and transformation.
Couldn't agree more. It's a reminder that we have the power to shape our own lives, our thoughts, our habits, and ultimately our destiny.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what are your final thoughts? What's really stuck with you?
If I had to pick one key takeaway, it'd be this: focus on what you can control. Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude, those are the things that really shape your reality.
That's such a great reminder. And it's something we can all put into practice, like right now. So as you go about your day, ask yourself, what kind of life am I creating? What thoughts and habits are shaping my reality? And what choices can I make today to, like, become the best version of myself?
Love those questions. And remember, personal growth, it's a journey, not a destination.
That's so true.
Keep exploring, keep learning, keep becoming.
Because as you become what you think reminds us, you really are the architect of your own destiny.
And that's a wrap for our deep dive into You Become What You Think. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
We definitely did. And we encourage you to, like, take these insights and make them your own. Keep those questions in mind as you continue on your own path of, growth and discovery.
Until next time, keep doing deep, keep questioning, and keep becoming. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Deep Dive.